Hello language learners! Let's talk about sentence mining. Now, what is sentence mining and who cares? This video was inspired by an email that I got from a subscriber who was talking about their own struggles with German. John, this video is for you. Basically, he was saying that one of the biggest problems that he'd been facing was that he was trying resources that would teach him the language by sentence. He wanted to learn the language by individual word, grammar point, etc., 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 the way that you guys know that I love to learn. That is not the only way to learn. There's not one way to learn. There are 7.5 million ways to learn. But in this video, I'm going to talk specifically about sentence mining, who it's for, how you do it, and 2 great resources to accomplish just that. First of all, sentence mining. In a nutshell, it's basically where you learn a language with sentences by reading the sentences, listening to them, repeating them, etc., 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 etc. This way, you learn things like grammar, word order, vocabulary, things like that more naturally. Instead of spending a lot of time learning grammar rules and trying to make grammar rules work and learning vocabulary, a lot of people prefer to use sentence mining. So learning a language more authentically by taking and regurgitating and listening and taking in sentences. Not only is sentence mining a great way to learn a language in context, which is huge. I love the concept of learning a language with context and picking it up naturally and authentically. However, sentence mining is also really great for language learners who don't want to deal with grammar. You don't want to learn the grammar rules in their own specific ways and have like a textbook knowledge of grammar, and you'd rather just be able to feel that it's right, like we do with our native language. Sentence mining might be an option for you. If you hate grammar, it's like grammar is a part of language. Depending on your goals, you may or may not need to have a very strong grasp of grammar, but if you hate learning it, sentence mining might be a great way for you to pick it up naturally, because you learn to figure out when things are conjugated, how they're conjugated, just by, stumbling around the language and whatnot. I personally am not a big fan of this method. It's not really how my brain works. I'm too analytical for this. I like the little pieces of a language and I like to be able to put them together myself. However, there are many language learners who prefer this way of learning a language, and so if you're watching this video, I'm not here to discount you. So let's talk about 2 great language learning resources that you can use for sentence mining. Our first option, you could already tell already, is Glossika. Glossika is pretty well known. Glossika is available in 60+ languages, which is a lot. I'm going to start with Spanish. Here on the homepage, you can see that Glossika does exactly what I'm talking about. Absorb Spanish patterns and speak Spanish naturally with Glossika without memorization. So right here you can already tell that Glossika will help you pick up the language authentically, naturally, figuring out patterns in a way that isn't just rote memorization, but being among sentences and putting sentences through your head that help you understand these patterns in a way that a native might, not necessarily somebody like me who wants to understand the specific grammar points. This first lesson that we have has these 5 different sentences. They're not going to explain to us, how suena is conjugated or why me voy means I'm off. It's not really going to go into the specifics because that's not what you want. What you want is to get natural, native-esque phrases and to understand them and pick up the language as you go. So let's do this. Start.
I'm off. Me voy.
Okay. Me voy.
Sounds good.
Suena bien.
Today's Wednesday.
Hoy es miércoles.
It finishes.
Termina.
What's wrong?
¿Qué pasa?
Today's Wednesday.
Hoy es miércoles.
See, now it's starting to do a little bit of a review. That spaced repetition kind of thing.
It finishes.
Termina.
I'm off.
Me voy.
What's wrong?
¿Qué pasa?
Sounds good.
Suena bien.
It finishes.
Termina.
Okay, now we have to come up with the words and phrases ourselves, testing how you're picking it up.
What's wrong?
¿Qué pasa?
Sounds good.
Suena bien.
Today's Wednesday.
Hoy es miércoles.
Get this one wrong. What? Okay, so now we have to type it out correctly.
Today's Wednesday.
Just showing it again,
Hoy es miércoles.
because clearly you haven't mastered this, so let's give it a little bit more practice.
I'm off.
Me voy.
Today's Wednesday.
Hoy es miércoles.
If you need some help, you can look at the words in case your listening isn't quite up to par just yet. Okay, that's going to go to the next session. Then you learn these phrases, you practice them. And if you go back, I just started today, but if it was like tomorrow or the next day or something like that, you would have phrases for me to review, build up that short-term memory into long-term memory, etc., etc., etc. But these are very beginner phrases. They're very realistic, very reasonable, very day-to-day use. There's no detailed little by little explanations about voy, how it's a conjugation of ir. I mean, you don't get any of that because with this strategy, you don't need any of that. Glossika is available in over 60 languages. Let's take a look at them. And there's a lot. There is a lot, like Arabic, Croatian. I don't even know what some of these are. There's a lot to learn, and then you can always change your source language as well, so no worries if you don't speak English natively, or if you wanted to use a second language to learn a third language, something like that, Glossika has got you covered. Okay, so that's the first option. Glossika is the first option that is really great at sentence mining, provides you the phrases and the sentences that you need to figure it out as you go. And what about the other one? What's the other language learning resource that is pretty good at sentence mining? Welcome to Mango Languages. Mango Languages, oh man. Well, I am guilty. I have given Mango Languages a lot of crap in a lot of videos. The thing is, I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand sentence mining as like an intentional strategy, and that is my bad. Also, to be fair, they recently updated, so the platform is completely different. And I'm just gonna say for the record that I was wrong about Mango Languages before. There's something wrong with it if this is a strategy that works for you. I'm not gonna be a language snob if I can help it. Mango Languages. Another thing that's super special about Mango Languages is Mango Languages partners with a lot of universities, public libraries, stuff like that. So there's a good chance that you can find Mango Languages totally for free. For example, right now, this is my Mango Languages through my public library. All I needed was my library card, type it in, and all of a sudden I had all the languages available. As you can see, Mango Languages is also available in a ton of languages, and it also has some cultural lessons as well, depending on the language. Of course, I'm going to stick with Castilian and Spanish just to compare it really well with Glossika. Well, I've already done a little bit out of this. Let me go to Unit 2. Why not, right? How do you say? Let's take a look at what sentences Mango Languages offers me.
Me gustaría aprender algunas palabras en español. Por favor, háblame en español.
Vale,
¿Cómo se dice esto en español?
eso es un libro.
¿Puedes repetirlo? ¿De qué te ríes? ¿Tan malo es mi español?
Eres casi una experta. Suenas muy castiza.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to take these sentences apart.
Me gustaría aprender algunas palabras en español.
I like the color coding. Visual learners, you know what's up.
Me gustaría aprender Aprender.
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 Me gustaría aprender.
Me gustaría aprender.
Algunas.
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 Aprender.
Aprender.
Me gustaría aprender.
Me gustaría aprender.
Algunas.
Algunas. Palabras.
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 Aprender.
Aprender.
Me gustaría aprender.
Me gustaría aprender.
Algunas.
Algunas.
Palabras.
Palabras.
Algunas palabras.
Algunas palabras.
En
En
español.
español.
Me gustaría aprender algunas palabras en español.
Me gustaría aprender algunas palabras en español.
It's a little bit different than Glossika, but it's a little bit more in depth, a lot more in depth than Glossika because it's taking the words specifically and translating them specifically.
Significar. Significa.
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 ¿Qué significa?
¿Qué significa?
¿Qué?
¿Qué? Esta palabra.
Esta palabra.
Esta palabra.
¿Qué significa esta palabra?
¿Qué significa esta palabra?
¿Qué significa?
¿Qué significa?
¿Qué significa esta palabra?
¿Qué significa esta palabra?
Significa
Significa.
esta palabra.
Esta palabra. Por favor, háblame en español. Por favor.
Por favor.
Por favor. Habla.
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 Por favor.
Por favor.
Habla.
Habla. Me.
Me. Por favor.
Por favor.
Habla.
Habla.
Ame.
Me.
Ame. Háblame.
Háblame.
Español.
Español.
Por favor, háblame en español.
Por favor, háblame en español.
And then you can do a review. Oh, so this is what I did before. Basically the same idea as Glossika. You can review all the words that you've done before. Just like Glossika, Mango Languages functions entirely based on phrases and sentences that are already created, and it doesn't really give you any conjugation tables, explanations really. I mean, depending on the language, Mango Languages does provide cultural context and some cultural lessons. But other than that, you're not going to go through the conjugation tables like you will with like Babbel or Duolingo or Quizzic or something like that. It's going to be much more immersive and natural in seeing words and phrases and sentences this you would use. Anybody would use any day of the week, and you don't need to know the exact vocabulary and the conjugation rules and the tenses really precisely exactly in order to express yourself in these subjects. All you need is the phrases, and all you really need is to be able to figure out how it works and what feels right. And there's one thing I learned from teaching English abroad is that there are so many grammar rules that I never learned outright and I just know. People who are learning English have to learn these grammar rules. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know when to say it. I don't know what triggers these grammar rules or whatnot. I just know what feels right, and this sentence mining is going to help you get there. So like I said, if you hate grammar, if you're not really interested in the little details and nuances and the textbook version of a language, sentence mining might be a much better idea for you. If you've tried sentence mining, or if you've tried Glossika or Mango Languages, or you have any interest in them, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear about your opinion and perspective. Otherwise, you can find me every other Monday at my blog at crashculture.com and every single Wednesday and Sunday right here on YouTube. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.